to another episode of R&R. As always, I'm Logan.
And I'm Ethan. And today we're going to be going over a little bit of low light shooting. Low light, no light. It's just going to kind of be an intro. More than anything, it's going to be to show you guys the importance of weapons light. I know we live in an age where nods are kind of the cool thing and everybody talks about nods, but the average person probably doesn't have an extra $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 sitting around just to get a set of nods, get a D-ball on your gun, and then be able to practice with it. The more realistic option is for us as a prepared citizen is to have weapon-mounted lights. They're expensive, but they're not as expensive, depending on what option you go with. So we've kind of got a range of different weapon-mounted lights out here, anything from very expensive to pretty inexpensive, as budget-friendly as I would want to go.
Yeah.
But we've also got a few handheld options out here to kind of show. Really, I mean, these are great to have, like as a bedside light, something like that. But yeah, so we're gonna just go over just kind of some of the basics and just kind of show you guys a little bit of low light, no light.
So we're just gonna be here showing you guys a little bit of info, a little bit of knowledge that.
Yeah, and so we're blessed enough to have a private range that nobody can tell us when we have to get off of it. So.
Yep. But yeah, with that, guys, we'll go ahead and get into the video.
All right, so real quick, we're just gonna be going over just kind of the manipulation of the light at night. So the way I've always done it is I'll activate my weapons light with my offhand. So that would be my left hand. So on a Surefire X300 model, you press in on this little toggle switch and it's going to activate the light for momentary. Or if you come down with it or up with it, it's going to activate the light and keep it on all the time. Different manufacturers are going to have different ways of doing it. Streamlight, they've got like the TLR7 here. This one, if you press and hold on it, it's momentary. It turns off when you let off with your finger, but if you just tap it, it stays on. So I know the TLR1's a little bit different as well, so we can kind of go over that. But one of the main things you're looking for with like a tactical light is, for me, I don't like strobe, I don't like low, I don't like medium. I just want it to be throwing all the time. So like for a tactical handheld, I just want to be able to hit the light and have it on. I don't want to be sitting there playing around with it, trying to go through modes. Same thing with this big old thing, but I just want to be able to click it on and have it on. So another thing to consider too is when you're using a weapon mounted light is if, say, this is all you've got and you don't carry a handheld light on you, or if you kind of think there's a threat, so you've got your gun out, you don't want to be pointing your gun at everything. So if you're inside a building and say you're in the upper floor of your house, you're upstairs, you don't want to be pointing this gun down in like the safe direction, but have temple index, and you're going to turn on your light and it's going to reflect off of your ceiling and give you some ambient light so you can see as you're moving. Or if you're downstairs and you got somebody upstairs, same thing, you can turn on your light and you can kind of still use it to see if you're having to move through. So it's either baseboard or ceiling lighting. So just something else to consider. It's all situational dependent, just like everything else that we do. You're going to have to figure out in that exact situation what you're going to do. So if it's safest to point it up, point it up. If it's safest to point it down, point it down. So one other thing that you got to think about when you're using a flashlight is it's important to practice this. You can practice this even in your house, just have all the lights off. But you want to make sure you know what setting your dot needs to be on. So when it's completely pitch black outside, you can push your gun out and not lose your dot, so your dot doesn't get flooded out. Because if you just look through the red dot at night, you're like, oh man, that's way too bright, it's starring out, whatever. You want to just make sure you practice that. You can do it in any room pretty much, but so. So that's kind of using it, turning it on as you're shooting. This is going to be more momentary, so press out, index with your thumb, and then as soon as I let off with my offhand. But if you're kind of clearing it, you can leave it on.
All right, guys, we're gonna go over a couple little demonstrations on using a handheld light. We have the Cloud Defensive. The two that are kind of big out there are like the old school kind of support hand on top of your gun hand. You go ahead and push it out, and then they also have the FBI one where you're kind of off body and hitting your target, and what that does is kind of take the light off of you, so it's not a big giant bullseye. It's like, oh, that guy's holding the light, that's where I'm going to shoot. Kind of takes the threat off you a little bit. So we'll go ahead and start with the off-body one. All right, now this one we're going to go ahead and do like kind of the offhand support hand. I'm going to go ahead and have my hand straight out, kind of like a 90-degree angle. I'm going to have my handgun hand on top of that resting. As you can see, it is a little more stable when you're sitting right there and you kind of have something to rest on with your pistol, but like we said, it does put a giant bullseye on you in a way. So if it is a low light situation, no light situation, that person or that attacker, whatever it may be, knows directly where that gunfire is coming from, as opposed of, you know, the off body.
And just so you guys know, we are picking up so much more light on the phone than on the camera than we are with our naked eye. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's almost, I wouldn't say pitch black, but it's
very close.
It's a lot darker than what it looks like on the actual video. So,
well, guys, I hope you like what you saw today. But today we kind of went over some different things. We showed a few different things, but let's go out with a little bit of information as far as different things on weapon mounted lights and just flashlights in general. So one of the buzzwords you like to hear a lot of, or that manufacturers use to advertise their lights, is candela, or well, lumens, correction.
Candela, yeah.
But candela is, in my book, it's probably a little bit more important than lumens. So what you got to think about is the higher the lumens the light are, that means the more area it's going to cover. So like we've got the X300 Ultra right here, the 1000 lumen and the 500 lumen. These are both pretty low candela lights, but they're very high lumen. So they're going to be a good area light for a lot closer of a distance, where something like this X300 Turbo is going to be much more of a pinpoint.
It's got more of a hot spot.
Yeah, it's a thrower, not a grower.
Yeah.
But and you'll see the same thing with like this Cloud Defensive, the handheld and the weapon mounted. Those are just throwers. They've got like 110,000 candela on them, about 1,300 lumens. But so, and also you can kind of see where a light like this comes into play. You know, especially bump in the night kind of light. Something that's got a little enough mass to it that you can, you know, whack somebody if need be, or whatever, if you have to use it for a blunt object. But
yeah, like as always, guys, you know, we do appreciate all support, the subscribers, the comments, the likes, the shares, everything. It really does help us grow. You know, it helps our get our content out there. Like we said from the get-go, like we shoot anyway. You know, we're gonna do this regardless, but it's just nice for us to be able to get some footage in. You know, spread some knowledge if there's anyone out there who doesn't know enough, or you know,
or even if you like just watching our stuff and seeing some different drills that we do. But yeah, if you guys like our content, I know he's going to say it, but please like and subscribe, because we're going to need it. We're getting ready to start building the second range here pretty soon.
Yep.
So it'd be really cool if the channel could pick up a little bit and we could be actually making something off this to help it towards that range.
Yep. Nothing wrong with making a little bit of pocket change and doing something you love, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he said, I'm going to go ahead and end it. As always, guys, make sure you do like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys next time with your daily dose of R&R.
We'll see you guys.